The statements, views, and opinions contained in this program are those of the individuals and not endorsed, nor do they necessarily reflect the opinions of Rosenbaum Communications and its sponsors.
Hi, I'm Samantha Burford, and welcome to FayetteCountySchoolSports.com and BluegrassHighSchoolSports.com.
Welcome to the new place for local and regional high school sports talk and analysis in Central Kentucky. And thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, off the EKU bypass. Visit them online at jackburford.com. Express Roofing, they have you covered. Visit them online at expressroofing.net. Set up your free estimate now. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. I'm Samantha Burford. We're going to introduce ourselves.
Donald Foster.
Doug Sally.
Larry Frakes.
And we're just going to get started. We're going to go with the top 5 for our region, high school men's basketball. Who wants to lead us off?
Don, you pick them.
I pick them, so it's
You guys
on
seem
me.
so energetic tonight.
It's cold.
We had
It's
a
snowing,
three.
it's
We had
cold.
three. Doug and I had a 3 overtime game the other day. We're still trying to recoup.
That is true.
So let's do the boys basketball. At number 5, I put Scott County. They come in 12-9 overall, 6-4 in the district. First 6-4 in the region, 1-2 in their district. Scott County is led by Isaiah Thomas with 13 points a ball game, and Hines Jones averaging 13. And they just won the Toyota Classic, which is it's becoming a prestigious tournament at the end of the season. So Scott County is my number 5 team. Agreed? Disagree?
They won the Scott County Classic on a 2-pointer and then a free throw, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat Wayne County. Wayne's a decent little ball club out of the 12th region.
Yeah, they're ranked number 1 in the 12th. And
Yeah.
Scott County's had their ups and downs this year, but
They're
they
playing
seem
well
to be
right
playing a
now.
little bit better now.
I think they're playing better right now. So
We talked a lot last month about Scott County, so glad to know that you all still feel the same way.
Scott County is a good ball club, regardless of the 12-9 record. Once it gets playoff time, as you know, it becomes 0-0. So, and Billy Hicks, whether you like him or not, he's a good coach. He's a great coach. So, Scott County is going to be in the mix. They have a bunch of good athletes. So, and they look like they have a deep bench. So, they're going to be a hard out come 11th region.
So you guys agree? Scott County number 5?
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue that fact at all. I mean, they're ranked in the state completely different, but they're 24th in the state ranked overall, and they're playing good ball. They're a well-coached ball team. I had different stats. I had Johnson, Jones, and Matsumura were. No, it was Jones, Johnson. Who is the 3 leading scorers are? What grade are they? Do you?
Isaiah's a senior. I think Jones is a junior now. Could be wrong about him, though. Hines Jones might be a senior, but I believe he's a junior.
Gotcha. Hines Jones, Isaiah Johnson, DJ Jenkins.
DJ Jenkins is a transfer from Harrison County.
Gotcha.
But I'm not sure if he's still there. If he went back to Harrison, seemed like I heard he may have gone back home to Harrison County. But
and Clarion, Washington.
Yeah.
So they've got 3 guys that are right on
they've
scoring.
got 3 and 4 guys who
that
can
are right
score.
at double digits at any time.
Of course,
So
Isaiah came from Madison Central, so we saw a lot of him last season. He's
Right.
explosive.
right.
So he can go off any night. But regardless of the record, Scott County is going to be a hard out for whoever draws them come regional time.
Yeah.
So
You get past your top 3 or 4 in the 11th region, and it's so balanced.
it's a crapshoot.
I mean, you could throw 4, 5, 6 teams into that 5th spot.
Woodford County could be there right now.
Well, that's what team I was going to bring up because they're playing better. They beat Central by 5 here recently, and at the beginning of the season, they weren't even picked to win their district. But they're playing well right now.
Woodford's playing well. I tell you, a team to watch out for is a lot of people say Henry Clay's getting better.
Henry
I
Clay
haven't
has
seen
gotten
Henry Clay a lot, but
Yeah, I've
they're
noticed
gonna
their
be
scores. They've
improvements.
been playing a lot stronger here lately.
the 11th is up for grabs this year. I mean, there's 3 or 4 really good teams at the top, but don't be surprised if somebody out of the top 3 or 4 wins the whole thing.
So number 5 is Scott County. Who you got for number 4?
Number 4, I put Madison Central. Call me a homer. Central's 12-9, 6-5 in the region, 2-0 in the district. Central was led by Kirkland Humphreys. He's averaging 17 points. But they played most of the season without Big Sam Jones. Sam has come back. He's only played 5 games. Sam was a double-double when he's on the floor. He went out in the first game with a major big-time concussion. Also, Central has junior guard Cameron Thomas averaging 14 points a game. So I think if they'd had Sam all season long, they'd be a whole lot better than that 12-9 records show. As you just said, you had a triple overtime game where they played Lincoln County, who is the number 2 or number 1 team in the 12th, top 15 ball club in the state, and it went to triple overtime. If Sam stays healthy and everybody stays healthy, comes playoff time, like I said about Scott County, don't be surprised Central don't make some noise.
That'll be exciting.
The one thing about the 11th region, I think we alluded to that last time, is you don't know how the draw is going to go.
That's it.
And you get into the 11th region, if you're a winner of a district, it's such an advantage.
Yep.
When you go, you could play a weaker team in that first round game
Let's just say
and end up in the semifinals very easily.
Central draws Frankfort out of the 41st, let's say. Then that means Woodford County is going to go on this side. But if they can draw opposite, say Catholic, Bryan Station, whoever, like you said, you can get an upset in there too.
Right.
And you can walk right to the finals.
One thing that we talked about in the triple overtime game we got to call the other day was how much fun we had watching Feldhouse coach that team, and he did such a great job with them. And that's one of the things to me that always stands out, regardless of we've talked about that in the past. It's just fun to watch him coach. He's on it. He handles the team well. Calls the timeouts at the right time. Calls the right plays on the inbound passes. We talked about a lot of the things that they had the third quarter the other day in that third 3 overtime game where they got outscored 22-11. They'd had the lead all the way to that point, but then Central battled back with less than 2 minutes to tie it up. Got behind in the first overtime, tied it up. Got behind the second overtime, tied it up, and then the third overtime they had Sam fouled out. And they kind of had run out of gas at that time, but it was fun watching him coach that. So I agree, when they get in the region, the sky's the limit.
It all depends on Sam. Sam's a big part. He's an inside force, but with him being gone, it helped get some of the younger guys some major playing time there.
Well, the Taylor kid stepped in and did an outstanding job for them.
That's
and
right.
As a matter of fact, at this point, he's their leading rebounder with 8 of the game. And we talked about the other night the adjustment period after Sam got hurt. It takes some time to readjust and find everyone's new roles and so forth. And then there's another adjustment period
now
that he's back. So they're still in that phase, I think. And they've lost 4 out of their last 5, but look at the people they've played. They've gotten beat by Holmes out of the 9th.
Yep.
One of the leading teams in the 9th region by only 3. Woodford County beat them 5, and they've been playing a lot better.
Woodford's improved.
West Jessamine out of the 12th region, a strong team out of the 12th, beat them 7. And in Lincoln County, 3 in triple overtime.
Yep.
So those are 4 out of their last 5. And then in the middle of that was a win against Southwestern, who's one of the leading teams in the 12th
Central's
region.
had one bad loss all season. It's the game after Sam went down. They went to Lafayette and got blasted by 20 points. And as Coach Feldhouse said, they were feeling sorry for themselves. Oh no, what are we going to do without Sam Jones in the middle? And so they got beat by 20. But since then, they've all got together as a team and are playing well. That 12-9 record is very deceiving.
Well, if you'll remember, during the triple overtime, Feldhouse never subbed until Sam Jones went out. So I think he's happy with their 5 of them.
I think Humphrey and Miller played 44 minutes. They never came out of the game the whole time for 3 overtime.
Humphrey seems to be his go-to guy. He's
he's
always
a senior,
the guy in the clutch.
and he handles it. He's I wish his free throw shooting was a little bit better, but he's a high school ball player. But that's the only thing I can see. He's got a good quick step to start with it. He can shoot the 3 with confidence. He has, he can kind of throw passes, lasers.
He's shooting 47% on the season.
Absolutely. So it just freaks me out.
I
don't. We talked about that the other day too. Don't know why the free throws are a dilemma for him. Other than that, he's a stud. He ought to be playing at the next level for somebody. In basketball or baseball, whatever it is he's going to get to do. But he's, he is obviously the team leader, plays with passion. And the game we watched the other day, I thought that Cameron Thomas did a fabulous job with his play.
I believe Kirkland, he stepped up when Sam went down and became the new leader. It looked like it was going to be Sam's team coming in, but it was like Sam Jones, Mr. Double-Double. When Sam went down, I think Humphrey stepped up and took the team leadership role.
When you talk about leading the team in field goal percentage, from a guard spot, that's unusual. Usually you think an inside player with all their opportunities in the lane would do that. But at this point in the season, Kirk's the leading field goal shooter.
Do you remember throwing it back all the way to last year, Humphreys was the kid that made that last second shot to win the game last year. I can't remember which team it was, but we
came off
got
the
more
bench and played.
views. Yeah, we got more views on that one hit of him just making that last second basket.
So they're the number
Incredible.
4 team. Who
I've
do you
got
have at
them at
number
4.
3?
Lexington Christian Academy was my number 1 last month. I've got them at 3 this time. 15-6 overall, 8-1 in the region, 4-1 in district. They're led by Matt Rose, a senior. He's committed to Samford University. He's averaging 23 a game, 8 rebounds. He's shooting 48% for a guard and 87% from the free throw line. So I tell you, Matt Rose is a nice little ball player, and I have Christian there at number 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make some noise in the All-A Classic, too.
And they've just won the All-A Classic.
Yes, and
Won
so-
the All-A region.
And
So
you would have to say they were one of the leading All-A teams in the state.
I'd say so.
They beat Sayre, and so they get to go and continue that journey. But Nate Valentine's got them playing pretty well.
Yeah.
They've got one big guy, and that is Rose. The rest of it is pretty evenly distributed. So I don't know how far that'll carry them when they get into
It's
the state
hard,
tournament,
you know.
if they happen to make it that far, because they're going to be playing, teams with more.
Well, once you hit the 11th region tournament or whatever, you're going to be playing against the Allenfeld Houses, the Billy Hicks, and they don't let one player beat them.
Yep.
You can game plan for one guy, so they're going to need help. They're going to need help from the other positions. But
Yep.
I've got them at number 3 right now.
Yeah. Well, they're playing good, and I'm glad to see them get an opportunity in the All-A to get out and compete.
Hopefully they can win it for the 11th. It's been a while since the 11th region team won it, I believe.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Lexington Catholic. Catholic is 15-7, 6-2 in the 11th region, and they are 3-2 in their district. Now, 4 of their losses are out of state. I think they lost 2 in Ohio and 2 in Hawaii. They are led by Tanner Johnson. Tanner's averaging 21 points, and he's shooting 54% from the floor. So, Catholic looks like a really good ball club, though. I haven't seen them play, but you see the scores and whatnot. They seem to be a pretty good little ball club.
And you got Griffin, Johnson, and Talbot, and they're the 3 leading scorers and some of the best players on the team. And they're consistently going to give you a good run for your money. I don't care where you play them at, or they're not afraid of anybody either.
No.
The thing that makes Lexington Catholic so strong year in and year out, I think, goes back to their feeder system.
Mm-hmm.
These kids play throughout, all the way up through together, and by the time they get into their sophomore, junior, senior years of high school, they got a ton of experience playing together.
Yep.
And they have a system that they incorporate, and they keep consistent all the way up through. And they're always a factor in 11th region.
That's the key thing, having that feeder system and running pretty much the same offense and defense. So it's nothing new. When you get to high school, it's not like a shock to have to go to a new offense.
Right.
You know it like the back of your hand.
Terminology's the same.
It is.
And that makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
And your feeder system coaches, too.
In that 3 overtime game the other day we talked about at Lincoln County, I mean, those kids have been together since the 6th grade.
Right.
I mean, they just feed off of each other. They know what's going on. It's fun to watch a team like that where you got kids coming from different coaching perspectives and different philosophies from Madison. I mean, just in Madison County, it's so much different. With the different kids coming from
Well, they were all
Cottle,
seniors, I
Madison,
think, too.
Middle.
Yeah.
They got like 8 seniors, but it's fun to see the different kids from different communities and how they play as they go along.
The smaller community, especially like Lincoln County, they don't have probably the one feeder school, so.
Yep.
Or one
Well, those are the unsung heroes, I think, in a successful, consistent basketball program, are the feeder system
middle school coaches.
Coaches, because they're the ones that incorporate all the fundamentals and they work closely with the varsity teams. If you're talking about, and that's true with any sport too.
They can make you a break
football,
you.
baseball, whatever it is. If you've got a strong
Even
feeder
cheerleading.
program, then that's going to pay off.
It can make or break you. If you have a bad or middle school coach, it shows when they get to varsity level, they don't do the little things. They don't do the little things right, and that can hurt you. So,
Yeah.
they are my number 2 team at Catholic, and my number 1, Bryan Station. Bryan Station is 15-4. They're 6-1 in the region, 5-0 in their district. They don't have a superb standout player. They got 4 guys averaging double figures. They seem to be very well balanced, and of course they're very athletic. So.
Well, they've got 4 of those guys shooting over 50%
Yeah.
as well from the field, so they're getting some good looks.
Station's going to be a very tough team right now. At 15-4, they're the best team in the region.
Well, they have extreme quickness.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you have 4 people shooting over 50%, you can just about bet that they're scoring a lot off their defense. Turning people over and then getting out on the break and converting that way in transition. So that makes them dangerous.
They've scored 1,234 points to this point in the
20
season,
games.
and given up 1,006 points.
So plus
So-
200 something on the
Yeah,
total offense.
so they've outscored their opponents by 200 points.
That's
And
incredible.
And-
they're not playing a weak schedule.
No.
They're not playing a bunch of all A schools or small schools.
Right.
No, they're playing Lexington. They're playing the same schedule Central everybody else does.
Yep.
So
I mean, they're very well coached, but they, I think that they have a crop of athletes there. They had it for football that's carried into the basketball, and they're just a well-rounded athletic community at Bryan Station, and they're going to continue to be that way, I hope. But I agree with you on that pick. And just 4 people shooting over 50% just blew me away when I
know.
looked at the stats. I was,
I tell you what, this time next month we'll be here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it still this close in the 11th region race. 5, 6, 7 teams who could win the region if they get the right draw.
Well, that's what makes it exciting. It's going to be really fun to watch when it comes tournament time.
Most time we go in, there's 3 teams. You got 3 teams you think it's between these 3 teams. There's 6, 7 this year who could actually make a run.
That makes it fun, though. Makes it more
It
exciting.
does.
I think you did a good job picking them again.
Now, you talked about Bryan Station and their defense. Do we know, do they mix it up? Are they a zone team? Or
I have
are
not
they...
seen them play.
No. When do they play Central or Southern? When
I'm
we'll
not
get to
sure
watch them
about
play?
that. I'm not
We
sure
don't
if
know
we
on
do.
the schedule.
I guess we'll see them in the region.
All right.
I don't think they're on the schedule for Central or Southern.
Okay. Just checking. Thought you guys would know that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into girls basketball, and then we can't forget about Damian Harris. We got to tell you, I'm sure you know by now where he's gone. So we'll be right back.